Give it a second. Okay, well, I'm Roxana Guerrero, and we're going to be doing Canvas Expectations Ninja Level. This means you already know a little bit more about Apprentice. You've been using Canvas a little bit. And so I'm going to recommend that you can interact. You can have another tab open and kind of follow along as we do this. Or if you just want to watch and take notes, that's fine. I did have, and I do apologize, but I did have a note. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Ninja notes. I gave, let's see if I have that real quick. Yes, I do. So what I'm going to do is put in the chat box the sharing rights, so you can open that up, and these are notes. Let me see if I can do that real quick for you. Put it in my chat box, and that way these are just notes that kind of the key points. And if you want, and it's going to make you to force a copy, it's going to have you make your own copy so that when you do click on it, whoops, I sent it to, I keep doing that. One more time, sorry. Send it to one person. So when you click on this link, it's going to have you make your own copy, and then that way you can take more notes on it if you want. So go ahead and click on that while we're getting started. And while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay. Oh, let's do that. And here we go. All right, so if you clicked on it, you should have gotten something that looked like this. So those are some of the things we're going to be going through: the media tool, discussions, embedding, Google Documents, a little bit on assignments, Google Docs, and then there's some notes there for quizzes. All righty. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is announcements. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Let's do this. In the chat box, if you would tell me, when you make announcements, what type of announcements are you making to your students? So let's brainstorm. Anything you can think of, put it in the chat box. I want to know, what kind of announcements would you make to your students? This is a new time, a new day. You have them for a month remotely. So if you were going to make an announcement in your course, what would that look like? Let's go ahead and put that in there. Take a look and see what we're writing. And Dennis, if you'll just call them out as they put them in there, that would help me.
Zoom code, Zoom times, a special rehearsal, due dates for assignments, reminders, motivational messages. I love that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Zoom reminders, the assignment for the day or week.
Very nice. Okay, so let's take a look. I went ahead and did a little page here for you. Let's see what I put here. Announcements. Yes, I like the Zoom codes and the Zoom links. Very good. So I put here that you could send this to your students. When it goes to your students, it also goes to your parents. In Canvas, your parents are called observers. This could be sent, and I think it's just groups or sections in your class and in the entire class. If you're going to send something individually, you would use the inbox to send that information to the student. You want to make sure that your announcement is visible. Sometimes we get excited and put the announcement in there, and if we don't have the course published, then they won't see the announcement. They won't actually see anything. When you are finished working on your syllabus this week, make sure you go ahead and publish your course. You don't have to publish your modules right away, but as soon as your syllabus is ready, you want to publish it, and you can send out a welcome announcement. In the announcements, you have your rich content editor. So you could put in a media tool, or you could put in anything you do with your pages and your quizzes and your assignments. You can also do in announcements. They could be how-to videos. You can post reminders about things that are coming up, tips and tricks. I like that positive message. You could even put your newsletters in there. So we're going to take a quick look at announcements. It's going to be over here in your course navigation. I'm in my sandbox, but you would be in your live course if you were ready to do that. You could click on announcements, and then here on the announcement page, you would have a listing of the announcements that have gone out. So in this particular one, there was an announcement for newsletter, and I had a welcome to summer PD, and I'm ready to make a new announcement. So I'm going to click here in plus. The blue buttons are always your friends, so plus announcements goes there. And then you want to title it. So maybe we want to do a welcome to We can say to Miss Guerreros, or let's just say welcome to algebra. Very good. And then you would start typing whatever it's going to be. Happy to have you in my class, at least for now, right? And then you can say this class, and whatever it would be, this class will, and given the information. I would like to remind you that in the, when you're working in the rich content editor, you want to make sure that you're in 18 points or above, so that if the student is looking at your work through the cell phone, the font is much bigger and they can see it. Once you have your work in there, your text, you can go ahead and start bolding, you can add color, you can do lots of different things. This, what you're seeing right now, is the new rich content editor. It looks a little bit different from last year. It is a little bit more user-friendly than it was last year with the old one. And if I wanted to add a picture, then I would go ahead and put the cursor where I want it. The picture is in my 3 vertical menu, which is my skinny snowman is what I call him. I go in there, I find my gallery, I can upload a picture. I click on my rocket, and then I go find a picture that I want to put in there. So I don't know, maybe it's this guy. And then we go ahead and open it, put it in there, and we say submit, and we have our little picture. If you have a flyer, you can do a flyer, you can do a media tool, recording, you can do lots of different things. You can even put in a Google slide right there in your announcements for them to see. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll down. Right down here, you can choose to do the entire class, or if you wanted to, you could, I just do a little section of your class, maybe 3 or 4 students are in a particular section that you want them to do something. I'm gonna put it in the rockets. So instead of the whole class, I would do that, or I could do it by sections. So announcements can be done the entire class, or they can be done by sections. You can also attach a file if you like. You can, this is real nice, you can delay the posting. So if you delay the posting, it's gonna allow you to put the date that it's gonna show up, so that you can go ahead and do your announcements, get them ready for the week or for the month, probably not for the month, but for the week, and then have those ready to go, and they come out when you like, and do the date and time. I want that one to show up right away, so I'm gonna take that off. So there you go, that's announcements. Go ahead and save it. As soon as you save it, if you don't have a delay, it does go out to you. Right here, I like to say, so there's my announcement. I'm going to show you in accounts. When you are in accounts and you go to your notifications, it's the first one listed, you're going to notice that you do have some notification preferences in course activities here for announcements. Notice that I have these 2 checked. The first one allows me to see announcements that are coming to me right away. That's what the check is right away, daily or weekly. And then the second one, announcements created by you. Because I just sent an announcement, it's gonna come back to me and I can see what it was I sent out. So that's a good one for teachers to check, so that you can verify that things are going out and you know what it is that it looks like. Okay, so for me, that is announcements. Do we have any questions, Mr. Dennis, from the chat box about announcements? Oh, you're muted there. And while he's unmuting, what you see on my screen is an announcement that a principal sent out to Atkins Middle School. So notice that she also has font and she has a flyer in there. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr.
I've answered all the questions except the last one, which is from Grenine, if I'm pronouncing that right. I am showing the old version then. Did not see the 3 dots, etc., where she can add the image. So
okay, let's take a look at that. Yeah. So this is an announcement that you see here. I will be, my announcements, this announcements that the students get come here on their dashboard. So what I'm going to do is go back to my sandbox. I've been working in my sandbox to show you. And I'm glad you asked that question. When we were in edit mode, we had only 1 line of the rich content editor. And you probably have 2 lines. So if we want to do the 1 line, the newer rich content editor, you would go inside a course. In your course navigation at the bottom, you have settings. I'm going to click on settings. And then you're normally looking at the course detail, which looks like this. I would go to the 5th tab, which is feature options. And we're going to click on feature options. And this is available for every teacher. And yesterday, I think there was 5 of these. One of these went away. So right down here towards the middle, you have something called the RCE enhancement. This is the Rich Content Editor enhancement. You're going to want to turn that on. So once you turn it on, your Rich Content Editor goes from 2 lines of options to 1 line, and that's how you can tell the difference. But on that 1 line at the end, there's more buttons that you can see. So this is where you turn it on. And if you're new to Canvas or you feel comfortable with it, I would go ahead and turn it on. We may switch over in the middle of the year. I don't know what we're going to do there, but if this is a new year, new beginning, I would go ahead and turn that on there. So it's in settings, feature options, and it's about the 4th one down, halfway down the page. All right, so now—
Tanya had a question about deleting tiles. Are you referring to courses? Kind of off topic. So we can come back to that too. As far as deleting tiles, make sure that you don't delete anything from the district. But if it's a sandbox, we can show that later. We just don't want to get too off track here. So we can bring that back up here later.
Okay, it was the sandbox. That's fine.
Yes,
Thank you.
and it also might be choosing your favorites, where some of them show and some of them don't. So we can maybe do that a little bit later. All right, so we talked about announcements. Oh, and then we came in here to look at the different options. And let's go ahead and go to discussions, and we'll look at that Rich Content Editor there. So let's talk about discussions before I show you my page. In the chat box, tell me, when you were in the classroom having discussions with your students, what types of topics or what types of discussions that you have? So what was it? Content? Was it brainstorming? What types of things did you do for discussions in your classroom? You can also think of it as now that you're going to be with them remotely and you wanted to make a discussion, what type of discussion might you have remotely in your Canvas course? So let's put those in the chat box. And Dennis, let me know what you have.
We've got brainstorming, content, relationship building, journal responses.
Ooh, like it.
Lesson opener for the day, different approaches to math topics, so like processes, brainstorming again, character analysis, book discussions, and various content.
Very nice. Okay, so I love that. That's wonderful. So here is an example of a discussion, and I put what other ideas could discussions could we use in Canvas. So yes, I heard brainstorming, maybe having the students explain their understanding, sharing the information, asking questions for the teacher, asking questions for the peers, and also getting peer responses. And so this is what a discussion would look like, and a student would come down here to reply, and they would put in their answers. When they hit, well, we'll show you that in a second. All right, so let's do one for ourselves. We're gonna go back to my modules, and I wanna put it in the module that I'm working in. So across from the title, there is a plus sign. I'm gonna go ahead and hit plus. And here's my pull down menu. I was in pages, now we're gonna do discussions. And I can do a new topic, and I'm going to say here, we can do 2-word check-in. All right, so I just title it. Whenever I add anything to my module, it shows up at the bottom. I do have 8 little vertical dots here that I can grab to move things around. So I'm gonna put it right there under uses of discussion. To go ahead and edit it, I'm gonna click into it so I can go to that page. Here it shows me, there's my discussion, I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna edit, and inside again, I wanna go ahead and type, and it would be something as simple as, how are you doing today? Or you could say, what is your understanding of the content? How are you doing today? Because this is such a short question, I can make it as big as I want. I can make it bold, I can add color to it. Let's do blue, something like that. And so by now you would have taught your students the 2-word check-in. So they're gonna give you 2 words to let you know how you're doing. It could be how your understanding of the material. It could be what you're hoping we do tomorrow. how could this have gotten better? It could be lots of different questions. Well, what I'd like to show you is down here again. You can do it for the whole class or for a section of your class. You can also add, attach a file. But right down here in the middle, in the options, you have a place where you can grade it. Whenever you have something graded in Canvas, what it's going to do for you, it's going to keep track as to who has done the work and who hasn't. So even though this is not really an assignment, it's more of a question, and depending on what type of question is, will depend on how deep they go into it. But because I've clicked on the graded, Canvas is going to keep track as to who has done the work and who hasn't. And so that's always a good thing, because you want to make sure that everyone is participating. You can also click on allow threaded replies and allow liking. And if you do allow liking, you can sort by likes. So there's lots of things there that you can opt to do. And we're going to go down here. Because we're grading, we can decide if we're going to show that it is 100 points maximum. Right down here in display grade as, oh, they changed the order. You can simply tell it that you want to show points, or you can do, if you've ever tried using complete or incomplete, did they do it or didn't they do it? And you can just leave it there, just like that. Again, you always want to put a due date. When you put a due date in Canvas, it shows up in 5 different places. I'm going to have that due today by midnight, and I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so in Canvas, when you put in a due date, it's going to show up in the students to do, in the student's calendar, at the bottom of the syllabus, in the dashboards, it would be the list view, or even in the recent activities. And if they have the Canvas student app, it will show up in the app. All right, so there is my discussion for today. How are you doing today? And this is a 2-word check-in. So there it is. Those are discussions. The other thing I want to show you is for the teacher, if you go into this discussion mode here, when I click on that one, I can see all the discussions I have. I have it turned off for the students. This little eyeball with a line shows that it is turned off. The students can't see that. But my 2-word discussion, if that's something that I want to use often or just kind of have it available, it could also be like, how can I best help you? Some generic or general type of question that always can come up. Here it is in discussions, but I can grab it and move to discussions. And so these will always stay at the top for students to come back to look at, or even for the teacher to come back and look at. If this is something where you want them to always come back to, you can go to your navigation and turn that particular option on. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for a second. Do we have any questions that we need to address?
Roxana, I put it in the chat, but I was trying to do what you were doing, and then I was confused because it wasn't working. And then I went to my settings and navigation, and all of my settings have been changed from yesterday. The past couple of days of training, we were told to make sure that you have a particular things enabled. And I did that. And then when I went in today, it's completely different. Like everything on the navigation screen, everything that had been in the course navigation, it has been changed. Things were dragged down that are hidden, like discussions was hidden, announcements was hidden. And it's very strange because they had been enabled and they were in the course navigation. So I'm just going to move them back. But I'm not sure where this is coming from. I'm not sure.
Okay, do you know what subject or what course that was?
It was English, 7th grade English.
I'm looking at that right now. I'm in the right now, Rox.
Yeah, it's probably because they did a sync. If they have more material for you, the specialist might have synced the blueprint one more time before school starts. And so if they did that, whatever settings they had in the course navigation would have changed yours. So you're right, you just go back into settings and put it back. We always want to make sure we have home, syllabus, announcements, and modules. Anything after that, if you can put that in alphabetical order, then that would be the closest we could to stay consistent throughout the district. And Dennis, did you want to add something?
No, just spot on. I did look at the people, because, and this is just something to keep in mind, that sometimes if you add other teachers to a course, they can play with it too, but I checked that. That looks good. So it does look like it was an update by the district.
Okay.
The other thing that came up in the chat, Rox, if you want to show them, the question was, could they use this for a student one-on-one? Now, I know you can send an inbox message to students. However, the question was, can we do this with just one student, like have a discussion?
Oh, great question. I know that the announcements wouldn't let me do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 2-word check-in, and let's see if it'll let me do just the one student. Just double check it. Sometimes it gives us information and then it doesn't quite follow through. So let's take a look. Or maybe I'm remembering wrong. All right, so I'm gonna go back into edit. And I guess it would be in regards to who you assign it to. So right here, I'm assigning it to everyone. And in this particular course, I have sections. So it's showing me all of them. I have section that is called Rocket, another section called Glider. And then I also have students in there. So if I wanted to assign it to Rocket, and then I also wanted to assign it to student 1, then it lets me do those particular people. So I could assign it to 5 students or 2 sections or the whole class. The other thing I can do while we're in here, this is a discussion. Sometimes, let me take student 1 off. I know that student 1 always needs a little bit more time. I could go in here and add a time for that particular student. So for student 1, I'm gonna give them a 1 more day to think about the work and to get it done. So after I add it, I could go here and everyone else is turning it in on August 5th. I can go right down here and say, you know what, I'm gonna give him till the 7th to get this done. So 2 extra days. And so that's how you could do differentiated due dates. You can do this in assignments, you can do it in discussions, and help me out here, Dennis, I think you can also do it in quizzes.
Yes, any time it's a grading assignment, so you're correct. So assignments, quizzes, and announcements, all those can be done if you just want that to be with 1 student. You can always differentiate and just have that assigned to 1 student or 1 group of students.
Very good. And notice that as soon as I started putting more like a section here in a student, it turned this everyone to everyone else. So you can kind of see what's going on. So now when I hit save on the teacher side, when I look at this particular discussion, it's going to show me who it is assigned to. Actually, why didn't it show me? Okay, so in the assignments, it does show you, but here, I guess you have to go in and take a look at it. Oh,
I have a show you.
Yes.
You know how on your, all the words that are on the blue, what do you call that? Your navigation board?
Yes,
okay.
The navigation.
You know how some of them have the blocked little I?
Yes.
Like my announcements on my page has that. And
yes.
like, of course, I'd want my kids to be able to see discussion. I forgot how to take the eyeball out, how to unblock it.
Okay, there's 2 ways. The first one, sometimes you have these unblocked, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, but the eyeball still comes up on the announcement and sometimes on the module. If it's on the module, it means that you haven't published the module yet, so there's nothing for you to see. And again, on the announcement, when you first get it, the eyeball will be there until you make that announcement. Until you send an announcement out and there's something for them to look at, then that will be available. So let's say we want to go ahead and come down here. In the course navigation, we're going to go to settings and we're going to add discussions up to the top. So I'm going to go to settings, click on settings, and I'm going to get 5 tabs at the top. The middle one is called navigation. So that's what we want to look at. So I'm going to click on navigation, and I have home syllabus announcement modules, and I do have Nearpod and people, but I want to add discussion. So I'm going to grab discussions, click, and I'm going to drag it up to the top. Remember, we said below discussions and in alphabetical order. So now discussions is available for students. And at the end, I go down to the very bottom. This is one of the pages where you do have to save. You save it, and then it's ready to go. So now I have here home syllabus announcement modules, and then I'm going to show them discussions, Nearpod, and people.
Roxana?
Yes.
Just for folks that are watching right now, for people, we would not want to have people there though, correct? So students would be able to see other students in the course?
Yeah, so I think it's more teacher preference. If you have people open and it is available maybe at the secondary level, then students can contact other students in the class and they can ask for help, or they can also contact for social reasons. So you would want to decide if you want to have that available or not. Same thing with grades. Grades you can have available so that the student could click on it and see how they're doing in regards to assignments or items that are need to be submitted to the teacher. When they click on it as a student, they'll be able to see what they've turned in, if it was on time, if it was missing, and what's coming up. Again, if you choose to do grades, you're going to have to set some parameters or let your students know that this is not the official gradebook. The official gradebook currently today is the Home Access Center or the Teacher Access Center. And so if they want to know how they're doing in their grades, they would have to go to the Home Access Center. If you're going to show people, you want to have parameters, and if they misuse people's, then you would turn that one off too.
I was starting to type in the chat. I figured I could just say these here. So one question was about Zoom. Can we add that to the navigation? And that we don't have that yet. Not everyone has an educational license, so that will not function for you in the course navigation if that was added right now. But somewhere down the line, that if the district is able to purchase licenses for all teachers, that's an option. And the question also came up, Rox, why do you have to do this for every TAUS or course? Why can your navigation sentence not be across the board?
Every course is different, and depending on your audience, you might do something different. So here, I may turn off people, but I have a course where I have adults, one representative from each school, the IT chair, and I know that they do well with people and they can follow some of those things. So depending on the audience of your course will depend on what you decide to turn on or turn off. For the elementary, I wouldn't do anything more than home syllabus announcement and modules for a little while until they get used to that, and maybe introduce one at a time if you're going to add a little bit more. So just depending on the course and your audience, you're going to want to decide what you put in your course navigation. Great question. That's a really good one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to modules, and we're going to look at the media tool. So the media tool in Canvas is a way that you can work with students, giving them audio and video feedback or information. Usually it's anywhere like short, under a minute to 3 to 4 or 5 minutes. I know a teacher that gave some instructions and hers was 8 minutes long, and it did not, when I'm calling, it didn't stick. The thumbnail didn't come up, and she spent 8 minutes discussing something. So when you use the media tool, you want to kind of keep it short. For a teacher, you might be doing an introduction, a greeting, maybe you're explaining some content. And this is just if you want to do like, what do we call that? A moment, there's a word I'm thinking of, but when you, teachable moment. It's something that's really quick and you're going to tell them. But if you're going to be teaching a lesson that's going to go past your 5 minutes, then you're probably going to want to use something like Loom, where you kind of explain or teach, record the teaching. This one is more real quick, and it's more of a content. You're kind of maybe reading a test question or reading a test answer. Maybe you're kind of getting them excited about a topic that you're going to be doing, or you're giving them feedback. So we're going to take a look at that. I do have a media tool for teachers and students video that you can take a look at. It kind of explains this, and it takes a little bit slower. So I'm going to grab that. And then I was having trouble seeing my chat. I don't know if I can do it. Let me look down here real quick. I don't know why it didn't want to do it. Oh, there it is, maybe. You might have to help me with this. I don't know if you want to type it, Dennis, but my chat is not coming up. Can you grab it off the screen?
Okay, I won't be able to grab it from the screen.
Or you'll type it in? Yeah, I don't know where it is, but it won't let me see my chat. Nope, sure won't. So that is a really nice video that kind of goes through what we're going to do here in just a second. So if you want to take a look at that and kind of start and stop it as you wish, then that would be good. All right, so what I'm going to do, did you get it, Dennis?
I'm getting it now.
Okay.
I was answering a question, and then I'll go ahead and put that in the chat as far as the link.
Okay. On the student side, think about what you would want your students to record for you. So I'm going to show you how you can put it in the let's go with an assignment where you use the media tool, and then in order to have the student talk or record something for you and give it back, I'll show you how you can do that in the submissions. So your students you might want to do this to introduce themselves. This might be best in a discussion where they can do a video and introduce themselves to their peers. You can, if they have questions about a topic, they can actually ask the question instead of writing it out. They can share their learning in an assignment. They can brainstorm and give you some ideas. Anytime you want them to give you information back that you would want them to submit using a media tool. And then this one is really good for any grade level. If you want them to read a sentence or a paragraph to show you fluency or their understanding of the material, you can have that. Yes, thank you. You can have your students read something and record themselves. All right, so we're gonna go back to modules. And I'm gonna go ahead and open up an assignment. So I'm here, I'm gonna go to my plus sign. So we've looked at pages, we looked at discussions. Now we're gonna do assignment and put in new assignment here. And let's call this about getting to know you. Getting to know you. And we're gonna add it. And so this is an assignment. I know it's an assignment because I have the little paper with the pencil, and I'm gonna go ahead and move this one up too. Whoops, I just wanna move it up here closer to the media tool. Getting to know you, I'm gonna click into the title so that I can go and edit it. And then I'm gonna go here to edit. Notice here it says there's no points, there's nothing, and this is for everyone. This is what I showed you earlier. And on my side as a teacher, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my video in the Zoom so I can show you how the video works in the media tool. All right, so now I'm here getting to know you. So maybe the instructions are, I would say, please share with me. And you can put as many things as you like. I'm gonna say your favorite color. And let's go food, just why not? You can just do, share with me your favorite skill, or what do you like best about mathematics, or what was a lab that you enjoyed in science? It could be lots of different questions just to get to know your student. Again, you always want to do Control A to select all. Make sure the font is 18 or 24 or higher. You can add color, you can do lots of different things with what you have. So there it is, but maybe I want to be a little bit more specific or share a little bit here. So we're looking for their favorite color and food. All right, so this is the rich content editor. There's only one line. If I go to the vertical dots, this is the skinny snowman. I'm gonna click on that one. In here, I have hyperlinks, and then I have pictures, and then right here, I have like it looks like a little rectangle with a little triangle in it. And then it has musical notes on it. But if you hover over it, it says record and upload media. There you go. So I'm gonna click on that one. And I'm gonna go to upload or record media. So this is the teacher going to be explaining. Here's the button for computer, record, or embed. I'm gonna do record. And I'm gonna use this to help them explain what it is that they like to know. And so here I am, you can see me in my camera, and the assignment was gonna be to explain their favorite color and food. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click start recording. It's gonna count down 3, 2, 1. When it gets to 1, I wanna be smiling pretty, or else it's gonna catch me talking and my mouth is gonna be open and I'm gonna have a weird face. So I'm gonna do this real quick. It's gonna be less than 30 seconds, so here we go. And I'm explaining the directions. Hello students, thank you for being here. Today's assignment is going to be for you to share with me your favorite color and your favorite food. Miss Guerrero's favorite color is periwinkle blue, and my favorite food is a homemade burrito. I like it with the taco meat, a little bit of hash browns or potatoes, and refried beans. Ooh, I'm getting hungry as I think about it. All right, good luck, tell me lots. So there it is, and there's my smile. I can start over. I can watch the video. Hello students, thank you for being here. Today's assignment is going to be for you to share with me. And so I can either start over, Notice it was only about 30 seconds long, but I like it, so I'm gonna go ahead and save it. And then because I had my cursor here underneath the instructions, this is where the recording is gonna show up. And if I wanted to, I could add more information. So be sure to click the media tool. Whoops. Whenever it's something that I want them to see, I do it in capital letters. Be sure to click the media tool and hit submit when done. Okay, so I'm just giving them information. There it is. I have to remember to make sure I do a large font so they can see it. And I'm gonna bold it, and maybe I'll do a different color to make it fun. There you go. Be sure to click the media tool and hit submit when done. All right, so now that's the teacher side, and it could be you're reading a test question, you're giving them a prompt, you're reading a story, whatever it might be. Again, between less than 1 minute up to 3 or 5 minutes would be awesome. This should look familiar. We're just gonna add the points. It's an assignment. We're gonna show points. So right here where it says submission type, this is where you choose if it's online, on paper, or an external tool. We're gonna do online submission, and we want them to do the media recording. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on media recording. I'm also gonna go ahead and do text entry in case I have a student that maybe doesn't have a camera and or would prefer to write it out, so that might be good. You can also do file upload. Maybe they want to show you a Google slide with pictures of their favorite foods, and you can open it up to that. This is new this year. This is allowed attempts. So if I click on that, these are submission attempts. So you can, sometimes students want to submit more than once, and that's okay. Sometimes you just want them to submit just one time. So in this case, I'm not going to limit it. I'm going to do unlimited. And know that a student can submit as often as they want. On the student side, they only see the one submission or the latest submission. On the teacher side, you can see up to 4 submissions, and it holds them all in one place for you. So that's kind of cool. I'll show you that in a second. And then the group assignment, we're not doing that right now. That's like major and minor grades. Right here, you can peer reviews. You can require peer reviews if you want it or not. I would maybe do that more in the discussions. And then right here, you're going to set a due date, and I'm going to set it for today, and I am done. So I'm going to save and publish. So this is what it looks like. My instructions, please share your favorite food and color. There's a little recording there for them to listen to. There's a reminder. And then right down here, I can see that it's 100 points, and it's for everyone. And let's again remember my little Johnny needs more time. I can give him a different due date too. So so what I'd like to do is show you the student side. So there's 2 ways. Yes.
A couple of things. Mentioned a couple of times, there are a couple of folks where the media tool did not work on several occasions. And so I would recommend, because y'all have different devices, you'll have different add-ons. Sometimes the add-ons that you have on your Chrome can play with this. So if it doesn't work, make sure you call Canvas 24/7. They're available, and let them know that it's not working, and they can kind of walk you through some specifics on why. But definitely you want to fix that, because the media tool is a way really to leverage relationships and be able to communicate at a higher level than Canvas. And just a couple of suggestions. Eileen gave a suggestion on how, like, as far as recording and using the frames as an example. And then Adriana was asking about showing how to embed a video instead of a recording. So you have the media tool as a tool in and of itself. She was asking about how to embed a video instead of recording.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. Let's go ahead and do that now before we go to the student side. So let's say that you have a recording. One of the things you might have to do is record your Zoom. And when you go to your Zoom, let's see if I can show you that real quick. If I go to my files in my computer, these I believe they're gonna be in documents, I believe. Let me open that up. And there's my Zoom, and these are all my Zooms. So if I go to like yesterday's Zoom, inside here, it comes with a lot. I have it set so that it automatically saves my chats. But right down here, I have Zoom_0. This is the one that I would go and upload to YouTube, make it unlisted, and then I would grab the YouTube link and put that into my canvas, wherever it might be. So here it is. If I had something like that, I would go ahead and put my cursor where I want the YouTube video to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and go up here to YouTube and see if I can find something real quick. Here's my YouTube, and I'm gonna look for, this is real simple. I always look for growth mindset. And let me find that real quick, growth mindset. And let's say it's this one here. I try not to find one that's too long. So this one's 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and click on it. Here's my video.
I'm sure you've heard the news about the government sending out rebate checks.
I thought somebody was asking me a question. I was like, what happened? Okay, so this is the video. Let me go a little bit more.
Any single person that makes $99,000.
Types of mindset.
Okay, so this is the mindset video. If you go here to, there's two ways. You can go here to share. You can actually grab this is the simplest way and just copy that link. When I go back over here and I put the link just right here in the rich content editor, Control V to paste, and I like to hit a space so it becomes a link, it automatically knows what it is. And so you can do it just like that. Go down here and everything is set. So I'm gonna go ahead and save it. And it's going to turn that link into a link that they can use, and it's also gonna make it a little thumbnail. The other way that you can do it while we're in here, we're gonna go back. We're gonna do, that's the easiest way. It's there. When they click play, they can expand it. I'm gonna go back to edit, and I can do it a different way. Whoops, I'm in here. I'm waiting for it to load. Again, I'm gonna go put my cursor where I want it to land. This is the embed way, embed video. Okay, and put the cursor where I want it. And this time I'm gonna go back to my YouTube, and I'm gonna go to share, same place, this is where I'm at. But when you have these two like less than, greater than symbols, that's my embed. So I click on that one. And this is the coding that you see behind the screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the code. It's copied. I'm gonna go up here to my edit, and I have the cursor where I want it to land. And now in my rich content editor, I'm going to click on my skinny snowman. And then right here where it's going to allow me to upload media. Actually, let me see. Here is my computer record and embed. I'm gonna click on embed. And then here, my codes. I'm gonna do Control V to put the code in there. I don't even have to mess with the code. That's what I want. And then I hit submit. It's taking a second, and then it's gonna embed it for you. So this one actually looks a little bit bigger. And I think I like it better that way if you embed it. And that way they don't have to click the link to go out, and it's ready to go. So the top one is the media tool, still loading. And then this one is the link with just a little thumbnail. And then the last one is how you would embed the actual video. Now they can't really watch the YouTube videos at school, but most of these students are at home, so they should be okay watching these videos. If there's a particular video that ends up being blocked, you can send that video or the website to the help desk, and they will approve it, and so they'll be able to watch it at home. But since they're at home, they should be okay with that. How are we doing, Dennis, with the questions?
We're doing okay. It's almost as if you were looking at the chat. So you answered that question about the whole being able to access from school as far as YouTube videos. You are correct.
Awesome. Okay, so that was media tools. And then let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like on the other side. So let me see if I could come over here. Can't tell. Yes, this is the one I want. I'm sorry. Well, oh, it's over here. Sorry. Okay, so here it is. Make it a little bit bigger. All right, so this is the student side. And notice that they can't see everything. And this is just a test student. So I'm gonna go to modules. And I hope I remember to, did I do that? Remember to do, let me check something real quick. I have to make sure, yeah, it's published, so we're good. And then now we're on the student side. And so here's the student, and let me just go back and show you some things on the dashboard. On the dashboard, here's the to-do list. This is where the students are going to be able to see things that are required of them. Here's that introduce yourself, getting to know you. Right down here, if I have feedback, there'll be some feedback right underneath that. And then there's also a place where they can view their grades. And these are the grades that pertain to what's inside a Canvas. So the student would go and click here for the sandbox. And then they would need to know to go into the modules. The modules for me are like online packets. Instead of physically having packets that you hold in your hand, your packets are now your modules. So these are all the different things. So this is what it looks like for the uses of discussion. We'll just kind of go through this. This is how the student will do it, and this is how they would go in there. Let's do the next one. Here's the discussion on the student side. How are you doing today? They would click on reply. And 2 words. I'm gonna put, they're always sleepy, right? Sleepy, and well, that's another word, sleepy. I'm gonna put comma, fantastic. All right, and they themselves can make that much bigger and so forth. So let's say that's all they did, and we're gonna post it. When you do the discussions, there's also I didn't see it, but there's also an option that you would have them post before they can see other people's responses. So that's also a good thing to do. So there's the student saying sleepy and fantastic. Go to the next one. This is how they would see the content. We were looking at that one with the ideas for the media tool. Here's the one we just did. So the student would see it like this. There's the growth mindset, and then there's the video. And they would just click on it and start watching the video. Okay. Questions about the students. Well, here it says submit. So we're doing colors. Go ahead and submit. I wanted to show you here, because I clicked text entry and file upload, you have a lot of options. But right here in the middle is the media one. Remember they were going to do a media to tell you what their favorite color and food was. So we click on media, and here's the record and upload button. And just as I'm showing you, you would show your students. You would kind of walk them through it. So I'm going to click here to record and upload. It's going to ask me if it's going to allow the microphone and camera. I say allow. So I show this to my students, and then it's loading. And there it is. And then your students, put on my hat, I'm a student, right? They always wear hats. And then they're gonna record. Hi, Ms. Guerrero. My favorite food is hamburgers and fries and Dr. Pepper. And my favorite color is yellow. There you go. So that's what they did. And so they save it, and it shows up here. So it looks like there's a little media recording. They can say here, I was in a hurry. And they can put whatever they want to their teacher, if they can spell it correctly, hurry. Whoops, I did it again. H-U, yeah, I was in a hurry. So they can put a little note for their teacher, and when they submit it, the teacher gets their assignment, and they get their, the little note. When they submitted, woohoo, you see all the confetti? Because I submitted it on time. I met the midnight deadline. So now on the student side, notice here that there's a check that I've submitted. It tells me when I submitted it. And if I clicked on submission details, it would actually show me what it was that I submitted. And then right here also it says I was in a hurry, and it tells when I put in that submission. So that's the student side for the particular assignment. So now I'm gonna minimize this. And now I'm on the teacher side. I'm gonna go ahead and just refresh it just to make sure. But now, because somebody has submitted something, then right here on this side, I have my speed grader. I can go in there, and I will be able to see the submissions that my students have. And so what I like to call it a basket. Canvas puts all of the submissions in one basket. And so right over here on my pull down menu, I'll be able to see who has submitted and who hasn't. These down here doesn't have anything, so they haven't submitted, but the one with the orange does show that, woohoo, they submitted something. So I would click on that student, and right here it says submission is a media recording. I could click right here, and then I would be able to watch that recording that the student prepared for. Hi, Ms. Guerrero. There you go. And so I would give them their grade, awesome, give them 100, and I could also return their comment. I'm gonna put no worries, glad to see you. And I could hit submit, and then now I have started a thread with the student going back and forth. And so if I needed to capture the thread or the communication between the student, maybe it had to do with why something was late, or maybe it had to do with something where they're having difficulties, I could click here on download submission comments, and I would be able to capture that documentation for that student regardless of what it was. If the student submitted twice, right here where it says submitted, there would be a pull down menu and you could see how many times they would submit. And on the student side, they would only see the latest submission. While we're in here, before we get out, over on the left, there's a little book. If you hover over it, it will say grade book. When I click on that, it's going to show me all of the assignments, discussions, and quizzes that I have assigned. And it will show me where in here there is, like this one, there is a file that I need to look over, or a media recording. It will show me the ones I've done. The color coding, if you go to view, and go to, I think it's status, it'll show you what all these colors represent. You can go in there and change the wording by double clicking on it. It's not letting me do it. There it is. And I can change the word and change the color so that it fits me. Right here is where I would change the color. Maybe I wanted it a different color. So you can go in and fix that coloring so that you know what these colors stand for here. The other thing, notice that 2 students have turned in the work and 2 have not. So what I can do is notice that where it says getting to know me up here, when I hover over that title, there's 3 little dots. So those appear when I hover over it. When I click on those 3 little dots, one of the options I have is message students who. So when I click on that one, right here it says message students who haven't submitted yet. And it's telling me that student 2 and student 3 have not submitted. And it says no submission for getting to know me. I could go down here and say, hello, make sure you get that in. Your deadline is tomorrow. And I could send that message to those students. But maybe student 3 talked to me and I know why they haven't turned it in, and we already had that communication. I could go through there and take that one off, and then maybe the other students are there. And the other options here on message students who would be who haven't, maybe there's something that I haven't graded yet. I'm letting them know, give me 1 more day, I'll get it done for you. Maybe students made lower than a 60 and you want them to redo it. Or maybe they made more than a 90 and you want to give them praise and congratulations. So those things are there for that purpose. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that one. So the way you see that is you hover over and the little dots come up, click on the dots, and you see the message students who. Okay. Questions on the speed grader or the grade book before I get out of this screen?
It looks like we're good. Just some other questions prior, but I think they've all been addressed. Just some questions about Google integration and things like that.
Okay.
So we're good.
Different session. All right, so I clicked on the little menu here on the left to get me back. And the last thing we want to talk about is embedding Google. So we're doing good on time. We still have 30 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can get this done in the next 5 to 10 minutes so you can see. I'm gonna go to embedding Google files. Let me click on that one so you can see what it would look like. So a couple of reminders when you're embedding the Google files. You wanna make sure that your sharing rights is anyone with the link can view if you just want them to view it. So if it's like a Google slide you're preparing for them, I know that ELAR does a lot of that. I'll show you where that is. When you are searching for a file and you're about to embed it, it's better to copy the title and paste the title. So if you start typing and you miss it by 1 character, then it's difficult to find. And it says, be sure to place the cursor where you want it to land. And then I would do 2 things. I would embed the link and embed the file. So the good practice would be, and I'll show you this in a second, If you embed the link first, you can put something like, it's like, here's the example. If you're having difficulties viewing this file, please click here. So if a parent is logged in with their G-username, they're not going to be able to see this Google slide that I have here because they're not part of our CCIC domain. They won't be able, I don't believe they'll be able to see it. So if they're having difficulties, they could click on the link. It'll take them outside of Canvas, outside of our CCIC domain, and then they'll be able to see it. So that's a good practice to have both the link and the embedded document. The other thing is, I'll show you real quick where you can do the 100% pixelation, and then always add instructions before you put it in. So here it says, please review the following United States maps and prepare to explain 2 differences and 2 similarities. So I'm going to be lazy and grab these instructions, and we're going to do it again. So I'm going to do Control C. I'm going to show you now how to embed. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to embed an assignment. So at the top of my title to the right is my plus sign in gray. I'm going to click there. This is an assignment. This is a new assignment. And I'm going to say here, and I'm going to put United States map activity. I'm having to think about what I want to title it. Your title should be unique. If they're not unique, then they start getting conflicted and Canvas doesn't know which one you want to do. So now I'm going to add the item. Whenever you add anything, it does fall to the bottom. So I'm going to grab that and move it up right there. Now I'm going to click onto the title to get into that particular page. I'm going to click on editing or edit so that I can get inside there. And it's going to pull up my rich content editor. I'm going to click here. I'm going to remember to put in my instructions. When you're cutting and pasting in Canvas, it doesn't always keep the formatting, so you have to go in there. I was able to copy and paste it, but I wasn't able to keep the formatting. And then also a little trick, if you do 1, 2, 3 clicks, immediately it does the whole line. So I can do that also. Let me change that one to a different color. And then if I do Control A, select all, it does select all of it for Control A. I can make this much bigger. Let's do at least 18. So now it's ready to go. So I have my instructions. Please review the United States maps. And then it says, if you are having difficulties viewing this file, please click here. So I want my link to land there, and I'm going to embed underneath. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go find the file and take a look at it. Here it is. And it says I haven't signed in. Let me see if it'll let me sign in real quick. Okay, so there it is. This is my file. I can do a Google Doc. I can do a Google Slide. I might even do Google Sheets. I haven't done that in a while, but those are options. So there it is. So now that I'm in here, I'm gonna do 2 things. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to share. And this looks different this year too. Right down here, it was most likely going to say, it's going to look like this where it says restricted, only people added can open this link. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go do the pull down menu. I can do only in CCISD, or I can do anyone with the link. So I'm going to do anyone with the link. Over to the right, I can choose. Do I want them to view it, comment, or edit? I'm going to say view. So now I have anyone with the link or anyone on the internet with this link can view. And if I wanted to, I could copy the link, but we're not doing that. I'm good here. I've shared the document. I'm going to go ahead and hit done. The second thing I'm going to do is, because I don't want to have to find it, I can again click 3 times real fast. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. And it selects the whole title. I'm going to do Control C to copy. And now I'm ready to go and find the link and embed it. So here I am in my edit mode, and I have the cursor where I want the link to land. So in my new rich content editor, I don't see my little blue V. That's what it used to be, the little blue V. I know that now I have to go in my skinny snowman. So click on my skinny snowman. I still don't see the little blue V. Well, that is going to be right here in this document where it says document, because I want to put a document in there. I'm sorry, right over here. Oh, this is a funny story. This is where your apps are at. I thought forever that was a little D and a 2 written horizontally or turned on its side, but that's not a D and a 2, it's a plug. It's like, what? So I'm gonna click on the plug. If you hover over it, it says apps. So I'm clicking on the apps. I'm gonna use the app to get that Google Doc, the Google slideshow embedded. These are alphabetical. So I want to find Google Apps. I'm gonna click on Google Apps. And then now this should look familiar. This is the same thing that we were doing last year, if you've done it before. Right here under search, I do have my folders. I can go look for it, or I can click on search and I can do Control V to paste, because I don't want to miss one character. I want to be able to have it right there. That's the one I want, United States Maps. It's checked. And so now down here, I have an option if I can link it or embed it. If you don't see that, sometimes you have some scroll bars here. Just scroll all the way down and you'll see that you want to link or embed. So I'm going to do both. First, I'm going to link it. Click on link. And it's going to show up right there, right where I want it. The second time, I'm going to embed. So same steps, go up to my skinny snowman. Look for my D2 or my plug. It's like a plug for an outlet. And I hover over it. It says apps. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go alphabetically and look for Google Apps. Here we are. And now that that comes up, I'm going to go ahead again. It's still in my, I can paste it. I'm going to find my, whoops. I'm going to hit, sometimes when this happens, when it's there and you get a lot of them, if you hit a space bar afterwards, then it will look just for that little piece there. So let's see if it comes up. There it is. I go ahead and click on it to select it. So the check tells me that I've selected it. I've already linked it. Now I want to embed. So I'm going to go and click on embed. It's going to put it directly inside of your Canvas page. So a good practice also is to have the students log into their Google Drive first and then log into Canvas. That way, if there's anything you have from Google, it will recognize them immediately and they won't have to go and authorize it. If it does say authorize, you just have them click it, put in their credentials, and they'll be fine. Parents may or may not be able to see this. All right, so there it is. I think that's good. There's one more thing you can do. Now this is a little bit more advanced, so you can like turn away for a second, or you can watch and rewatch later on the recording. If you go down here in the old rich content editor, in this area right above here, it said HTML code. In the rich content editor, there's these little arrows down here, the less than, greater than with a diagonal. Switch to the raw HTML editor. So one thing that I can do is go find, and this is the last thing on my page. I'm gonna look down here towards the bottom. I'm looking for width, W-I-T-H, width. Right now it's on 800. And I can go in here, take off the 800, and I'm gonna put in 100%, so 100%. And actually I'm gonna do it up here too. Let's see if it does it. 100%, wherever it says width. And then what that does is it expands what you're looking at to the 100% width of the device, regardless if you're on a laptop, a Chromebook, or a cell phone. I think that's gonna work. Let's go ahead and click on those little arrows again. Takes me back so I can see. And I knew that was gonna happen. Let me go to one more time. The one down here that said 800, I'm actually gonna change it to 1,000 and see if that helps. Are you still there, sir? Okay, good. My screen went away for a second. All right, there it is. So I have the instructions, I have my link, and I have my embed. And I did share it. So I'm gonna go down here to the bottom. And I want to do, this was an assignment, so I'm gonna do 100 points. This is gonna be online submission. I want a text entry and a file upload. Limited, unlimited, and the due date. Always put in the due date. I'm gonna say the 7th. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and save and publish. All right, so I embedded a Google slide. I have my link there ready to go. And then right here is my slide, and the student can simply stay in Canvas and go through there and see the slide presentation. So they stay in there. If they want to make it bigger, they can use the expand. And looks good. I like it. So that is how you embed a Google Doc or a Google slide. questions on this? You're muted, Dennis.
Oh, yeah. So really, the question, the last question Deborah just put in is really relative to a couple other ones. When you were embedding the Google Slides, the question came up on whether or not this is the same as a Google Doc Cloud assignment, and it's not. So what would be the difference? And it's really, it would really answer Deborah's question, which is there a way for students to, quote, write on worksheets in the computer?
Yes. So the difference would be if I went to this particular one here and I decided, let's go to maybe this one. Maybe I had, I'm sorry. You caught me off guard, Ms. Deborah. So let's say we have this one, and let's say I went ahead and added some things like, what I would want to do is this is just an image that I put on here directly. Well, it's not going to click on. You're going to want to make the map part of the background. So let's say, for instance, let me go ahead and, it's not letting me do that. Let me go ahead and show you. So here it is. So I have nothing there. In the background, I can add a different color or I can add a different image. I'm going to say choose image. I'm going to use Google image search. And I'm going to go put in that I want a United States map. There it is there. And I'm going to go find one. Let's just say it's this one here. I'm going to double click it and it's going to put it in there for me. So there it's done. So it's in the background because if I try to write on it or do anything, it's not going to let me. So then if I wanted for my students to tell me, can you tell me where Texas is? Then maybe I put Texas here. And maybe I do another one where, let's see, maybe I want to know where Florida is. Okay, so I'm putting a whole bunch of these. And in the directions, I could tell the students that they're going to move these labels around and put them where they belong. And so I could have a lot of labels where they put in. I could also have just maybe a text space, text box like this. And I want it to pop, so I'm gonna make it kind of thick. And maybe I want to change the color of that text box right here. And maybe I want it to be like a hot purple or a purple. And so you can either do text boxes, you can do labels, you can do different things. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this into the assignment. I'm going to make a new assignment. It's going to be a Google Doc Cloud assignment. And Google is going to allow them to work on this as an individual file for them. So again, I'm going to go ahead and grab that. So that is Control-C to copy. I'm going to go back over here, go to my modules. This is bonus, Ms. Deborah, because this was not part of the presentation. Plus modules. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. I'm going to add it as an assignment. So here on my title with my plus, I'm going to add the assignment. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say United States map activity, but I'm going to say Google Doc Cloud. I'm just leave it like that. Google Doc Cloud. Okay, there it is. And so the difference would be, here it is here. All right, so I'm going to click on it. And this time, instead of embedding it in the rich content editor area, I'm going to go ahead and go edit. And if you have a rubric, it's important for you to put your rubric in before you do the actual Google Doc, because it doesn't like it the other way. Here is my information. I'm going to put my instructions here, whatever they might be. And this one, you really need to tell the kids to be sure to click on the name of it. All right, so right down here, everything goes on. I'm going to go to no submissions. I'm sorry, submission type, and I'm going to go down to external tool. And I don't know the URL, so I'm going to go find it. And I can make this a little bit wider by pulling on the bottom right. And I'm going to look for Google Doc Cloud assignment. They're alphabetical once again. There it is. So I'm going to click on that one. It's going to bring me to, again, my Google Drive. I'm going to search it. Let's see if it's this one. Hope it's the right one. When it comes up, I'm going to select it and I'm going to submit it. Once I submit it, at the bottom of this screen, it's asking me if I want it in a new tab. I'm going to say yes, because if I take them to that tab, they can work in there and then it's ready for them to just work in there. And then I'm going to select it. So there it is. It's an external tool. Here's my URL. It's going to go to a new tab. I'm going to go ahead and make it due again, maybe tomorrow. And then I'm ready to save and publish. And here it's saying that this tool needs to be loaded in a new browser window. So the students will click on that and it will take them to that there. So let's pop over real quick to the student view. And I think it might be, let me see if it's the next one. You know what, let me go back the other way so I can make sure I get the right one. Let's go to modules. And the one I want is this right here, United States Maps assignment. And right here it says, so I'm gonna have to click on that as a student to go load it. So when I click on it, it may not let me do it, Ms. Deborah, because I'm kind of a fake student. And so I think it's gonna get mad at me. Yeah, it's asking me to log in. So at this point, the student will not have to authorize it. They'll be able to go in there and move the labels around or click on the text box and type in there. And then when they're done, they'll be able to, there's a button up here to submit, they'll be able to submit it. So I won't be able to show you this because Canvas really wants to know who the student is so they can connect it to their Google Drive. And this is a fake student. Okay, so hopefully that helped you a little bit, but those are the steps. And we can go through it slower later if you want. If you email me, we can set up an appointment and do that. All right, so the only other thing I want to show you is in the, let's go over here real quick. So we're pretty much done, but let me just show you quizzes. Here we have, let's do the safety and tool quiz. I just want to show you what this might look like. You can go in there and preview it. There are 8 questions, and then here is the first question is where they have to go to safety goggles and decide what a safety goggle does. So they have to decide if it protects your hands and feet and so forth, so they can pick that. Here's an example of questions. This is a true false. You can have here multiple choice. There's lots of different ways that you can do this. You can also add media tool here where you're reading the question, reading the multiple choice. You can add pictures. You can add pictures in the question. You can add pictures in the answers. You can shuffle the questions around. You can shuffle the answers around. And you do that when you go into the editing feature of the quiz. And right here, they're all check boxes. You can shuffle the answers. You can do a time limit. You can allow multiple attempts. It could be a practice quiz. They're going to practice here 3, 4, 5 times, and then they're going to take the actual quiz. So I think what it will do is we'll probably have a session just on quizzes, so you can take a look at that, and we can go a little bit slower. But don't feel free to go to the the Canvas guides, look up quizzes, and get more information on that. I'm going to go and stop so that Dennis can put the Google form in. And also he can give you the code word for our session. Do we have any questions before I stop sharing my screen?
Roxanne, I do want to say that Michelle Contreras from Veterans Memorial High School did a fabulous session just on Canvas quizzes, and that link can be found on the website. So if you're looking to get like an in-depth view of quizzes, Canvas quizzes, go ahead and check her session out, and I'll go ahead and add that link right now to the chat.
Was that for the Tech to Teach session?
Tech to Teach session.
Oh, very nice. So we did record those also. So if you're interested in that, you can do that. Awesome. Yes, lots of Tech to Teach sessions were recorded. So please go there also and get some more information. Okay. So our secret word, there it is. It's periwinkle. It's Miss Guerrero's favorite color, periwinkle. So make sure
I remember that.
The Google form, and when they ask for the code word, it is periwinkle blue. All right, as you're doing that, your exit out the door, Before I give you that, know that at 10:35, Mr. Dennis Wisner is going to be doing a little bit more on the new analytics. This is going to be required of teachers to do weekly reports on how your students are doing. Lots of fabulous information coming from him. And so that you'll have to go and click on his link, and he'll be there presenting at 10:35. Your ticket out the door, thank you for being here today, is a 2-word check. How are you feeling now about announcements, discussions, media tools, embedding, Google Docs, and Google Slides? Give me 2 words on how you're feeling now that you've seen the session. And once you do that, thank you so much for being here. Hello, Coach Putnam. I see you. Very nice. Put that in.
Roxana, what
Yes.
was this session called?
It's on, oh yeah, I'm showing it on my computer, but I stopped sharing. Canvas Expectations for Ninja, Canvas Expectations, and I'm Roxana Guerrero.
Roxana, thank you so much. Fabulous job. Thanks all in attendance. I'm going to go ahead and set up. I've got some folks waiting my Zoom.
Yes, sir.
Y'all keep changing and be the change agents. Y'all are fantastic. Thank you, Roxana. Fantastic job. Give Roxana a hand, y'all. She's so knowledgeable. Fantastic.
Oh, I'm not even showing mine. I'm all smiling at y'all. I was like, woo! They don't see me. Very nice. All right. Have a good day. We'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye now. Excited. Scared, Miss Tasha. You. Better, a little bit overwhelmed. I gave you a lot of information. It is recorded, so you know that you can always go back and take a look. You can also say, you know what? I want you to come visit with me, or we can do a web meeting, and I only want to know about the media tool, or I only want you to talk to me about discussion. So I gave you like 5 topics. We can narrow it down, and we can just do one at a time if that's what you want to do. Not a problem. All right. Thank you so much. Feeling better. Yes, the recording is going to be on that same choice sheet where you found the link to come here. I'm going to put that recording there. And so that's a good cue to go ahead and stop the recording. So thank you so